Hello everyone, I'm Anthony, the Eclectic Chef, and welcome back to my kitchen. And also part one of our stock series, which today is vegetable stock. And here we have the ingredients of our vegetable stock we're going to cook today. Let me just emphasize all these ingredients are as they came, none of them are washed. So the celery, the leek, the parsley, you're going to have to be all rinsed off very well, particularly the leek, because we don't want any grit. But what do we have here? Big bunch of parsley from my garden. Need to use that up. It gives a bit of colour, beautiful background flavour. It's the only herb I put in because I don't want to bias the stock to taste. We've got 3 large carrots, which we're going to cut up. 3 celery stalks cut up. A leek, we're going to trim this, wash it really well to get any grit out. We have 6 dried shiitakes. I'll use these up in a salad afterwards, give a nice flavour. Half an onion, and we've got a jalapeno pepper which I'm going to slice lengthways to keep the seeds and pith out. Not for heat, just for background flavour. So this is simple. Save you a little money, but you will certainly know what's going into your vegetable stock, and you'll have a greater depth of flavour for doing this yourself. Okay, so a fair question is, well, why would I want to make my own vegetable broth or stock when there's so much of it available? Okay, good question. So Walmart's basic vegetable broth is $1.50 for a 4-cup carton like these. But it's got 3,200 milligrams of sodium in the box. That's just too much. Now, the Pacific, which is low sodium, I've used it before. It's great. $3.18 a container, 1 quart. But there's a lot of juices and concentrates in this when you read the label. Now on the left we got Trader Joe's, probably the best buy if you're buying, have to use store-bought stocks or broths. $2 más o menos, and there's less juices and concentrates, more vegetables listed on the label, but they're not very, these are broths. They're quite watery. They work in my recipes, but I'd rather have something that I've made myself, is a little stronger, a little darker, and has a greater depth of flavour. So let's set to washing the veggies, which I'm not going to make you watch. Chop them up and we'll get them in the Instant Pot. Of course it's the Instant Pot. Talking about washing here, it's just regular washing before cutting. The one I would say though is get after your leek, break it all up, get all the water in there. Leeks can carry quite a bit of grit in them and you don't want that getting into your stock. So here are all our vegetables, cut up into 1 or 2 inch chunks, and 2 quarts of water in the Instant Pot. If you're sharp-eyed, you'll probably see a few garlic cloves and ginger coins in there, which I add. Just gives a nice background taste. I'm not looking to make this anything other than a vegetable stock. That's why there's so many vegetables in here versus the watery broths that you'll buy at the store. So with that, my standard practice is 3 hours in the Instant Pot. Max extract, then we'll put this through a chinois and a very fine cloth. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll have a lovely vegetable stock to use in many, many different recipes. Okay, so I've let this cool. Usually I do this when it's warm, but we'll get all the big pieces of vegetable out with this wire mesh strainer. We'll get most of them out, leave the broth behind, and catch most of the little bits too. Then I use this very fine cloth to strain the fine solids out of the stock. Just so I'd let you see what it strains out. It's not a lot, but it does get all the little fine bits out. We don't have super clear stock, but it's good enough for government work, thanks. Actually good enough for mine. And just to put it into perspective, this is the amount of vegetables we boiled to get 2 quarts of vegetable stock, which is very concentrated, by the way. And in some applications, we'll take a little dilution. So here's our finished vegetable stock. 2 quarts. If you compare this to the colour of store-bought vegetable stock, you'll find it's a good bit darker. So for some applications, it will take a little dilution. You saw how many vegetables we boiled up to make this. It's very flavourful, very fragrant. I suspect most of the colour here is coming from the carrots and the parsley. Just out of interest, this is very clear. If you can see my finger through the carafe here, you'll see that this stock has turned out quite nicely clear after just run through that cloth and straining. A simple stock, good place to start. You know, the store-bought sodium-free stocks are great, but this is just vegetables and purified water. And you know from how, I talked to you about getting the weird stuff out of your food, that I really think this is something you might want to try and use. This is the first part of a series. We'll continue with stocks, broths and sauces and just see how this leads and takes us. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a great day. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends. Next up, chicken stock. Would you like chicken stock that looks like this? And by the way, that was effectively free. We'll cover how in the next episode.